Before we get started with the episode, we're going to take a second to thank our dear patrons. So we're going to start out with the House of Stone with Melissa Russell,
Liv Matlin,
Gabriela Margarita de Jesus,
Fighting Chance Studio,
Curly Tail Studio,
Krisha Dolan,
Allison Connors, and now in the House of Flame, we have
Spaghetti Sandwich,
Pokela,
Natalie Curry,
Leah Harvell,
Katie Grant,
Julie Sugidono,
Francie Dillon,
that's my mom, Aaron of Dirty Panda,
Cynthia Johnson,
Corey Little, hi Corey,
Cheryl Eisenhower,
Celeste Gantz,
Amber Costly,
and Birdie Tam. So thank you so much, my dear patrons. And if you want to support me and support the Mud Peddlers, you can go to patreon.com/Lindsey M Dillon. All right, now to the show. Wait, I have to say that again because I farted. This is The Mud Peddlers, a podcast where two nerdy ceramic artists share the behind the scenes of their worlds of clay. We're your hosts, Lindsey M Dillon.
And I am Donte of Earth Nation.
All right.
Hello!
So,
The other recording was so perverted we had to restart.
yes, we did.
I'm sorry.
What we're actually going to be talking about this week is our 2022 year review. So basically looking back at the goals that we set at the beginning of the year and kind of checking in, seeing what we got done and what is left on the list, what we don't want to do anymore, and what we want to bring into next year.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like I hit one major goal.
Tell me.
I feel like so I wanted to take a chemistry class
Yeah.
from Matt and Rose Katz, and they're just like the goats when it comes to like glaze chemistry, right?
Yeah.
In fact, I'm so infatuated. I only bought the lectures because they had a deal. But the class is near $1,000 and it was on sale at the time.
Nice.
Without the labs. I took no labs.
Yeah.
Right? So
but I mean, it's well worth that $1,000 from everything that you've been telling me.
Well,
so.
it's well worth it if you already know how to put together a glaze recipe and you know nothing else except for putting together glazes, then it's really good information.
Okay.
I know what a flux is and what a stabilizer is and what a glass former is and like alkaline earth and alkaline metal. I know all that stuff, but I don't understand how the chemistry fits into a glaze. And I don't know the ratios of like strength and what cone and XYZ.
Yeah.
And he provided all that information for me.
Okay.
But before that, I was just like, well, I need to add more silica because silica is glass and I need more glass. But like I knew enough of that to make my own glazes.
Okay.
But realistically, I was taking a base of a recipe and then mixing them around because I knew the structure of the recipe was good enough to be a base glaze. And then I was like, well, I'm just going to take the structure and form it to what I need so that I can make my own personal glaze.
Yeah.
But after taking this class, I'm pretty sure I have like, and I'm going to quantify it, but it's not a good quantification. I have like 50% more control over my glazes just based off of the chemistry. And I haven't even finished the class yet.
What was the main reason you wanted to take the class, like, in the first place? Like, at what point, like, what was the tipping point for you?
Oh my god, okay, so there's always stopping points in, like, someone who makes their own glazes life. So, like, when I first started, I was like, I want a really good black. A really good color black. And that's when you start researching color theory and you start to realize, oh, there's no such thing as the color black. It's just a mixture of a massive amount of chemicals that make sure that light doesn't pass through it. And that's what makes the perceived color black, really.
Yeah.
And then you get to like, well, I need a blue. And then you just learn that like cobalt makes blue. And you're like, oh, a certain amount. And then you learn cobalt's real strong. You know, like you can buy a pound of cobalt and it'll last you most of your life.
Yeah.
And then you have these little stopping points where you need a clear and then you need a this and that. I've gotten to the point where I need a red in oxidation and they're much easier to make in reduction. But all the people on Instagram who've taken this class from Matt Katz understand the chemistry enough to make a good red in oxidation. And there's some fantastic like red jacket reds and some like good matte reds that I'm like, I know how to put that recipe together, but I don't understand what they're doing with the heat work or the chemistry to make it so vibrant.
Okay.
Because realistically, if you put a glaze together and you put like red iron oxide, it doesn't turn red most of the time unless you're real good at it. It turns like brown.
Yeah.
And yellow and sometimes blue and green. It doesn't turn any of those things. So that was the tipping point for me, is when I got to this point of like, I'm going to go crazy if I don't make the perfect red for me. And not like a Randy's red. I want like my own red that I want to make. This glaze course was the send for me. Was like, all right, well, I'm going to do it. Matt Katz
Yeah.
is so good at teaching glazes and glaze chemistry from a ground level that I essentially have friends that make glazes just because they took the class.
Yeah.
Like, all the glaze makers are in, like, a little group on Glazy, and they're like, you know how to make glaze? Oh, yeah, we're that kind of potter. We should be friends and exchange information. I'm just like, where are these people coming from? And Matt Katz is producing a factory of friends for me.
That's great.
You ever see that cartoon where, like, a line of people are on a conveyor belt and they go into this box and the box has a label on it and they come out like a different thing?
Yeah, I'm sure at some point.
That's
Yeah.
like the Matt Katz and the conveyor belt and they come out like glaze chemists.
Oh, that's cool. That's
And
cool.
so that was the tipping point for me, but that was a big one for me. Did you have any?
I think my biggest goal, and I think I talked about this a little bit in the like mid-year review, was I think the biggest thing for me was getting my Patreon started because like, okay, so I listened to like maybe 10 minutes of the 2021 year review, the episode that we did last year.
It's been some years since we're doing this.
It's been a bit. It's been a bit. But I listened to that and like, okay, so the biggest things that I was wanting to do more is like monthly updates and making more money. So that's kind of where the Patreon came in, is like actually getting that started. And the two things that I think that I want to continue to do, because I think getting the Patreon started was a really big thing. Another big goal was doing the monthly updates. And I've kind of found that I don't think that that's as important to me as I thought it was.
Why?
Because I'm realizing that if I miss a couple months of like doing updates, or I just do very small updates, like 10 pieces or something like that, then I can put more pieces towards the really big events like SAC Anime.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I'm realizing that, okay, like, yes, I think it'll still be good to have a few updates kind of here and there, but it's not as important to me to have like a really big, strong, solid update every single month.
I've come to that as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm kind of like glad to see that is a thing for me, because it's like, okay, where are the areas that I'm wanting to focus my time?
Is it like cemented for you now? You're like, you were kind of on the edge, and then after your last table, you were like, oh, this table clearly is more bang for my buck than the online selling every couple months.
Yeah.
So now you're more like, well, I'm going to do little things, but the big thing is where it's at.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I think what kept happening is throughout most of this year, I kind of kept trying to, or I was still making it a high priority to do a monthly update. I just wasn't meeting that goal, and then I was kind of feeling bad. And now I'm kind of realizing that, okay, I don't need to feel bad because I think my priorities have changed a little bit.
It takes the pressure off, yeah?
Yeah. So I think that's an example of like, okay, it was a goal, but now it's like, I didn't meet that goal, but I'm okay that I didn't really meet that goal.
Right. No, I was talking to the wife, and we came up with the same thing, essentially.
Yeah.
Where I'm so stressed about giving an update or some type of blog, because my blogs take a long time, considering the fact that I'm doing all this glaze work and all these tests just to give you a clump of information that benefits you if you know how to make glaze.
Yeah. And speaking of which, you never even advertise that you have a blog. I always forget that you do. So
My blog is on my website. Like,
yeah, you gotta advertise that, man.
I put stuff up on the web. If you go to earthnationsceramics.com, I have a blog.
Yeah, but people don't know that. You gotta like advertise that.
Here's the thing, and like, I try really hard not to be rude to these people who ask me this question, but there's a good amount of people who are either learning to put glazes together or know how to make glazes already, who constantly ask me for my recipes. All of my glaze recipes and research, since I want to say last year, is on Glazy or on my blog, and I usually tell you the story behind it, and I tell you my thought process, and I link the recipe, and the UMF is up there, and the chemistry's up there, and like everything's up there. So, but like, you're right, I don't advertise it, but part of me is like, well, if you want my recipe, my hard-worked recipe, that a lot of people don't share, you gotta look for it. You gotta go to the website.
Yeah, but
It's not my responsibility to tell you about my research.
Well, you do. You just link them. You just link them to the blog post.
I mean, it's up there. I got a link in my Instagram, and you click the link, and it leads you to the website. It's 2 clicks away. How much less work can it be?
No. It's more than 2 clicks, because when you get to the website, then you got to go to the blog.
That's 2 clicks. Look, Instagram, 1 click website. Second click, push blog button. That's 2 clicks, my guy. 2 clicks. Not.
But people aren't even gonna know to look for it.
I don't know.
Unless you say that you have it, dude.
No.
Anyway,
I have it.
That's a separate thing.
I'm bad at
Yeah.
advertising myself.
Yeah.
And Lindsey, and I know this. We both
Yeah.
know it.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
So anyways, this came back to, so you and Abel were talking about...
Right, we were talking about the tables, and she was like,
Yeah.
you should do maybe a store restock of like 10 or 15 pots every 3 months. And I was like, yeah, maybe you're right, because I sold maybe like 30 pots, and there's about 20 left on the website right now, which, by the way, are bangers. You guys are weird. Y'all be buying the one-dimensional colored pots when there's like a myriad of colors and glazes up there that I've handmade myself, and y'all are like, give me the yellow one. Ugh. There's one that's like blue and white and red at the same time. That's America Cup.
America Cup.
Whatever, bro.
I love that.
Anyway, it's yeah, and she was like, why don't we start doing tables again? Just ease up on the website.
Why is that? Like,
It's honestly, it's just so much more money. It's just like, if I make a stock of stuff and I sold it even for $10, if I sold every mug for like $45 or $50 instead of the $63 because shipping. Right. In person, it would be like way more money to just show up, sit there for 3 days, and then sell out than it would to sit in my garage in the cold, which I love, by the way, but...
I know, it's kind of funny. I'm like, it's so interesting to hear you say this right after we did the episode where we're talking about selling in person versus selling online.
It's so much more money, but it's so less comfortable.
So I'm curious, why...
Because money, Lindsay!
Well, no, I mean, I hear you. 100%.
Money!
100%. I'm right there with you.
America.
But part of me is wondering, like, if we both kind of know that
Yeah.
you sometimes struggle with advertising yourself.
Masking takes energy, is all
Yes.
it is. And, like, I don't have an endless tank.
What I was going to ask is, like, why is it that you're more interested, or why don't you just advertise yourself more on Instagram as opposed to changing the way that you sell?
Oh, we've been over this, and I have a bad argument for it, and you're way better at convincing me to do it. Here's the thing. Advertisements are annoying, and I don't want to be another cog in the machine that is annoying you with constant barrages of serotonin and annoying advertisements. I just don't want to... In the same way that you get spam mail, and you're like, ugh, I wish they wouldn't send me this. It's annoying, and, like, it's a waste of resources and man hours worked.
God.
And, like, I am now part of that, but on a digital platform.
People like you, Dante. People like reading your stuff. They like... I mean, okay. The thing is, like, I hear you. And if for you, it's more comfortable to deal
spam.
with masking and to deal with the emotional energy of selling at an event, if you would rather do that
okay.
than advertise more, which is fine.
You're getting me. You're getting me so good.
No, I mean, I like, the thing is, like, okay, again, ultimately, because again, we kind of talked about this last episode.
You're
and
right. You're right, though.
Yeah, like
You're
you could.
right.
Thank you. No, I'm not trying to be right, but like,
you is, though.
I'm presenting you with options because it's like, and again, we'll kind of get back to in general like the goals and stuff, but I feel like this is interesting to like kind of work through. For you, if it's like
There's a choice between one or the other.
Right.
And one of them clearly is better efficient-wise and less time-wise.
Well, it's sort of like, well, I guess what I would say is each side, or at least from what I'm able to observe from your situation,
Yes.
pros and cons on each side. The pros of selling at a table is that it's a lot of money quickly, but the downside is it takes more emotional energy for you because of masking and all the stuff we talked about on the last episode.
Yes.
The other side is selling online, which has the benefit of you not having to be in a social environment that makes you uncomfortable, but the downside is you would then have to advertise your work more online to get the same benefit that you would from a 3-day event in person.
But in my comfort zone.
In your comfort zone, yeah.
No, you're right.
No, I'm not saying that one or the other is better. I'm just
win,
like,
Lindsay!
I'm not trying to win.
I'll make a TikTok right after this.
Oh my god!
You're right,
oh my
Lindsay.
god! No, I'm not trying to be right. I'm just trying to like, I don't know, because it's like
Lindsay said either make a TikTok or put your mask on. Choose. Choose.
Well, okay, because the reason I am bringing this up is because sometimes I find it's the funniest thing. There have been a few times recently where somebody else will point out a solution to a problem that just should have been so obvious.
Yes.
But it wasn't to me at the time. So part of me is like, well, if the goal is to make more money, like, why don't you just advertise more? But again, ultimately with that, it's about weighing the pros and cons and deciding what's ultimately most comfortable for you. Where you're okay with giving up discomfort, whether that's advertising or being in person. But,
and like, yeah, you're right about like I have to just let people know I have a blog and a store and a this and that, because I have so many branches on my tree of work that like somebody messaged me the other day. She's like, "You got a TikTok?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she only knows because there was a TikTok little symbol when I posted it on Instagram.
Yeah.
And Instagram wants me to post reels which are pretty much just boomer TikToks at this point. And that's, that's what that is.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, at that point, I'm like, I guess I'm not. Part of me wants to call it a false dichotomy of choices where it's like either or, but I can't come up with a third option, so that just means you're right. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, you could always, just, or what it sounds like, I think, could be good about what you're thinking about doing in terms of doing more events, is that it'll give you more information about like whether that's something that is like emotionally like sustainable for you, because it's been a really long time since you've done an in-person event. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it'll be different, but you're trying something new, which will then get you more information, because as my mom says, until you have more information, it's just mental masturbation. I wish y'all could see the look on Dante's face right now. But it's true. If you're struggling with the decision, sometimes you just gotta get more information.
That was funny as hell.
Isn't that great?
That was funny as hell, boy. I'll tell you what.
My mom's amazing. I love my mom so much.
That was funny as hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm taking that to the dad convention, and I'm gonna say
Do
that.
it. But you gotta credit my mom. It's originally a mom joke.
Yeah, no, at the dad convention, we credit women for everything.
Yeah, good.
We have to. Or else we get in trouble from our wives.
Oh my god.
Right.
Okay, boomer.
It's true.
Oh my god.
When you become a dad, all your humor becomes like, the other day I read newspaper because my wife make happy, but also sometimes sad.
All right, I have another goal thing.
You have more goal things.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I feel like I met my take a class chemistry goal.
Yeah.
Like I'm finishing up we just reached the color platform. So I feel like that was a major goal for me, and I feel like I completed that for the year.
Yeah.
That was my Christmas present to myself.
One of the things I've noticed that you've changed too is that you, so again, when I was listening to the little bit of the 2021 review, you talked about having an editor, and that's something that's changed too, right? Like you don't have an editor anymore for...
I don't have an editor, but I think it's because my community is much more understanding with my time now.
Oh, okay, that's kind of nice.
Like I used to get like, where's the weekly video? Where is it? And now people I think are like, well, he has a baby.
Yeah.
And he still has his 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
And then he has to make content for us. And then he's doing glaze experiments.
Yeah.
And then he has to go to Ensika. And then he has to make the blog. And then he has to, and then he has to edit his own video. So I think whenever I miss an episode on like a Saturday morning, people are like, yeah, no, that's fine. If we get like 2 videos a month, that's still better than none because his time is so strapped.
Yeah.
So I think I've eased off on an editor only because they're so understanding, but I still am in the process of finding a good editor.
Oh, okay.
My thing is that YouTube gives me a certain amount of money per month to have the videos up, period.
Yeah.
And I need to find an editor that, like, I need you to dry cut this for $50.
Yeah.
So that you can give it back to me. And that way I can be like, does it take you 2 hours to dry cut it? Cool, it's $25 an hour. Here's yours. 4 videos, right? And that's $200 if you can finish these 4 videos in one day.
Yeah.
And then for the month, I'll be caught up. And that way I just add audio and memes. And then that's like the episode. If I can do that, that's great. I have a person in the pipeline right now.
Oh, okay.
But he's a bit busy. I would just have to get him on a schedule.
Right.
So it's in the works, but I don't have someone right now.
Okay.
But it's
Okay.
So, I thank you. If you're listening to this, I thank you for being so patient with me. Just hit the bell next to subscribe. You will know when videos come out. It will give it to you.
Yeah. So another goal that I had this year that I feel pretty good about in general
Like you succeeded?
Yeah, like I
Okay.
succeeded.
Okay.
Is having a better work-life balance during the holidays.
Yeah.
And it was kind of funny because I was listening to, again, the 2021 review, and I was like done by December 1st. And I'm like, dang, I don't even remember that. Like, I wish I had done that this year. So, like, I'm glad that I think for how much I planned during December, I feel like I did a pretty good job of, like, there were some give and takes, right? Like, I definitely kind of fell off the wagon when it comes to posting consistently on social media. Like, I almost stopped doing that during most of this month.
Yeah.
But instead of like every night coming home at like 10 and 11, which is something I used to do pretty consistently, I would only come home at 10 like once a week. Like it usually ended up being like Tuesdays or something where I would work late in the studio. But like I think because again, that was something that Cody, my partner, for those listening who don't know, that was one of the biggest things that he had kind of was talking about, just with like overall my perceived sustainability in this field. He was like, Lindsey, I can basically predict when you're gonna get stressed out and when I'm never gonna see you.
Yeah.
Like based on the time of year. And I'm like, okay, if it's like
That's
consistently fair. Like, yeah, like that's fair. So so I feel like I've been a much better partner this this year. And another little victory thing is, so again, when I was listening to the 2021 year review, I was talking a lot about like how anxious I was in my like having to go to therapy a bunch, which, you know, again, nothing like therapy's friggin' great. Like I'm all for that, but it's also nice to not have to need it as desperately. So a little mental health victory of starting to take the anti-anxiety, antidepressants, and just like this has been the best year that I've had in a really long time.
I have noticed you've gotten better at pacing yourself.
Yeah.
I've noticed that. Yes.
Oh, thank you.
I'm not. Yeah.
I'm curious. Like, what do you observe? Like,
You're not as stressed about normal. You're just like there's something coming up in a month I need to get ready for, and then I check on you in like 3 weeks and you're like, I'm ready for it. And like that's it. I will say though, I have noticed that you and I together have more balls in the air. Pulse. We have more balls in the air.
Just,
Why are they in the air?
oh God, that's not where they belong.
They belong. You and I together have more things in the air that are big and that are coming up soon.
Yeah.
Than we probably ever have as a unit. And it's like, for the amount of stress you're exhibiting versus, I feel like a year ago you would have been way more stressed.
Yes.
You know,
yeah.
as for now, you're
Yeah.
like, we got it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think part of what helps too is that like I feel like there's more balls in the air, so to speak, but for me it feels like they're more focused. This time, or like last year, you know, I was still working on like we were working on the Tea Cozy project.
Yes.
And that was again like in November, like right before the holidays.
Yes.
So like there was that, and I was also making a set of serveware for Insight. So it's kind of like I've been trying to lean away from wholesale because it's just not really, for the way that I've structured my business, I think it's just not really worth my time.
Right.
So, as you know, and again, that's no shade on Tea Cozy. Like I love that business.
I still love Tea Cozy.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not about like,
I'll die with you, Tea Cozy.
oh yeah. Yeah. But I think it feels good because the things that we're juggling, at least for my part, are things that feel focused for the direction that I want to be heading.
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we should mention that. Well, let's mention like one of the three real quick.
Okay. Well, we should at least mention. Anyway, carry on.
Convention, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ceramicon.
Well, Ceramicon.
Yeah.
I forgot. That's the second thing. Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're part of this online convention called Ceramicon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Imagine a ceramic convention, because Ceramicon, duh. But it's more online, so you don't have to go to a physical place. You essentially pay a bit of money, and then you have an open door invitation to like have all these classes presented to you. The thing that I appreciate about it, and this is no shade on NCECA, is that when I went to NCECA, and I think a few people probably agree with me, it was more about meeting your Potter friends or like rubbing elbows, you know. But for Ceramicon, it is like 100%. I need this skill that I know this Potter, I know this Potter teaches, and if I pay this amount of money for this online thing, all these Potters come together and they talk about things like how to make your glaze, how to market yourself, XYZ, XYZ, XYZ.
Yeah. And the lineup is really good too.
Solid. Tim C
Yeah,
is there.
yeah.
I'm there. Lindsey's there. I'm surprised.
We're the good lineup, guys. No, regardless of us. Like the lineup looks good. The topics look really
looks
interesting. Yeah, and if you're curious about like, you know, who that lineup is, I think it's just ceramicon.com, but I'll also leave notes in the show note, or leave a link in the show notes.
Yeah, we have affiliate links so you can get like $20 off of the tickets.
Yeah, and there's like early bird sales right now. So your topic is going to be...
I'm talking about I'm talking about specifically how to put a glaze together with no knowledge of how to, like, if you don't know how to make a glaze, period, right now, I talk about where to get the materials, what books I think you should buy, the equipment you need to buy, the problems that you're probably going to run into, a place where you can get recipes and information on top of how to physically put it together. Like you don't know how to make a glaze right now. At the end of this, by the way, 30-minute course. If somebody made me a 30-minute video when I was a kid, like a younger kid than I am now, on how to put a glaze together, this was a love note to little Dante is what it was.
Oh, I love that.
It was like, let me teach you how to make a glaze from start to finish.
Yeah.
The thing is that it does cost a bit of money, but it doesn't cost as much as I thought it would.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think if you were to buy, okay, like, for instance,
Yeah.
I bought a video from Kurt Hammerly on basically slip casting 101.
Yes.
That cost $35, I think.
That's low, right?
Yeah, and this Ceramicon, anyway, I'll leave the information on the exact fee.
Yeah, they have an Instagram and everything.
Yeah, but it's basically, if you were to pay, because there's 20 artists, I think?
At least.
So 20 times 35. So if you were to buy each one of these classes individually for like $35, it would be $700. But if you like get the ticket to Ceramicon, you're getting that same number of classes for like around $200.
Yeah, and I will say that a couple people messaged me and they were like, what do you think about the price versus other classes? And I said, I think it's great. And I went in depth with one person. I'm sorry if you're listening to this and you're like, I'm that guy. I forget your name. There's a lot of you that message me on Instagram. But he was like, do you think it's worth it? And I said, absolutely. If you think about it, a ticket to NCECA was like, what, $300-$400? And there were no classes.
No, there were a bunch of classes.
Well,
like,
I mean,
NCECA had a bunch of... NCECA was huge. It's just that, like, I think for what we were wanting out of it, it was more of a social networking thing for us.
That's fair. So NCECA had classes, but like, this is class derivative. This is class driven.
Yeah.
This Ceramicon is like 4 classes. And to put it into perspective, right? For the glaze courses I'm taking right now, I got them on sale and they're near $1,000. For the 20 classes that you'll probably get with Ceramicon, it's a third, if not less than that price.
Yeah.
So is the juice worth the squeeze? It depends on whether you need juice or not. If you need to know how to market yourself and make glazes and I'm sure is there someone who's doing like slip casting?
There's all of the on the website, all of the artists have the topic that they're discussing underneath their headshot.
Yes.
So you can look at what the class list is and see if you're interested in that. And if you're not, that's totally fine. Like, but if it does look like it's going to be up your alley, it's a really cool project that Dante and I are working on right now, and I'm excited because my topic is kind of a combo of how to prepare for how to sell at your first in-person event and / how to talk about your art.
Yes.
So for me, one of the biggest things I struggle with in my business in general is if I'm trying something new, it's getting a sense of like, oh God, like what are all the different things that I need to get together? So like, I'm going to read.
You made like a list, didn't you?
I have so much. So in addition to the actual video that I'm doing, which realistically I'm looking at the outline, it's going to be hella long. It's probably going to be 45 minutes to an hour. Just discussing everything.
The minimum for the contract was like 30.
Yeah. But so in addition to the video that I'm doing, I'm also putting together a digital booklet that you can download as part of the class that will give you my entire outline. So you can have that as a reference. So that's another, again, like, added value to like
an extra step.
I'm doing so much.
I put in timestamps where I'm like, if you don't want to know this part of it, just click here.
Yeah. I'm gonna read my little thesis.
Yeah.
So this is basically what I wrote down for my overall goal of what I want people to get out of my Ceramicon class.
Yes.
So I want to help viewers feel prepared to sell at their first in-person event by providing 1, a clear, overarching sense of the timeline and steps needed to prepare for and participate in an in-person selling event. 2, the tools to navigate broad questions that artists can only answer for themselves, like how to price your work or how to talk about your work. And 3, provide a comprehensive list of both necessary and recommended items to bring. And I aim to achieve this goal by centering my own approach and years of experience, but also acknowledging the variety of opinions and experiences of other artists concerning these topics. So that's that's what I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to basically be providing if we're talking about love notes to our previous selves, I want to create the guide that I wish I had when I was getting started.
100%.
Because I need, like, all the information.
Yes.
So I'm really looking forward to putting that together, and that's, like, again, like, talking about looking into 2022, that's one of the really big things that we have going on, and it's freaking exciting.
Yeah, I know this sounds like an advert for ceramic.
Yeah, I mean,
but I promise they're not paying us for advertising right now.
Yeah.
We just want you to know that there's like a digital platform for people to learn valuable skills in the ceramic community that otherwise you wouldn't have. And I might be biting my own tongue by saying this, I don't know if a place like Ensika would have a volume of, last year I don't know of any class where someone's like, I'm going to teach you how to make a glaze at Ensika. I have no knowledge of it. I'm sure they've done it sometime in the past. But, like, if Ensika was like, each room has a person that would teach you one skill in this hour of, I'd be like, yes, I'd go to that convention every year. Every year.
Well, I feel like, too, like, Ceramicon and Ensika are in a lot of ways very different kinds of events, so I don't necessarily feel like comparing them is, like, the best way to...
It's apples to oranges, I guess.
Kind of, yeah.
They're both fruit, though.
Yeah, they're both fruit.
They're both fruit. They're still in the same field, but they are different.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I just don't want to, like, talk bad on Ensika because it's, it's just different things. Yeah.
I like Ensika. Yeah. It's just, like, that's the place where I go to hang out with the homies.
Well, there is a lot of, there are workshops and things as in Ensika. Like, Tasha taught an entire, like, lecture or, like, workshop thing on how to carve vessels.
Right.
So
yes.
So there are hands-on things with Ensika, but with Ceramicon, I guess, like you're saying, it's centering the education part as opposed to, like, Ensika has more networking opportunities.
Yeah, there's a concentration on a skill that is to be learned for Ceramicon.
Yeah.
Versus Ensika is like, pick what you pick, you know.
One of the other things too, that for those who maybe are interested in, like, the back end business side of this, like, because again, like, that's what the mud pedal is, that's what we're all about, is the behind the scenes of ceramic arts.
I'm interested in the behind them. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh my. But one of the things that kind of made me more interested in participating in this event is that the person who's running it is very coordinated, and they also, like, I've heard of other events, I'm not going to, like, name the events, but there's been some events that are the only way that the person, how do I say, where basically, like, the attendance is based solely, and the payment is based solely on what tickets the artist can sell. So, for instance, like, there's an event, the event organizer isn't paying the artist who's going to be there
to make the content, or at least to be there.
Right. And the only way for that artist then to make money is to sell tickets. What I appreciate about Ceramicon is that the event organizer is already paying us a baseline fee, which is a solid fee. I'm not going to say
it's not a bad. We're not so it's good.
Yeah. It's like it's a solid thing. So and of course we get a percentage of whatever tickets that we sell through our own separate affiliate links. So it's like, if you buy through Donte's affiliate link, then, like, Donte will get a percentage of that ticket sale. I'll get a particular percentage of whatever ticket sale you buy through mine and all the other artists. But I feel like that's important to mention because I am suspicious of events where the impetus to sell tickets and to make it a successful event is on the artist and not on the event coordinator. Extra. And I think that the event coordinator is doing a really good job of not making that dynamic happen. Like, I think we're all invested in making this a successful event.
Yes.
But it's not just on the artist, and it's not just about the event organizer, like, trying to make a buck off of
I agree.
artist's work.
It's also the ease of use that she set up. So I think her name's Elizabeth?
Yeah, Elizabeth.
Right? The ease of use in which she set me up was great. She was like, here's a video. I mean, here's the contents that I want you to do, right? What do you want to do? And I was like, I want to do this. She goes, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Outline it for me. I outlined it for her. She goes, great. Here's the things you're going to need for your Instagram and your social media. She gave it to me in like a...
like a media folder.
Folder. And she was like, here are the questions people are going to have. Here are the answers. And I was like, wow, I just got to push like 2 buttons. And you did most of the footwork for me. And then any questions I had, she was super helpful.
Yeah.
Super nice about it.
Yeah.
She wasn't like, look here, you little I'm gonna give you $10 to make a TikTok and talk about me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you're kind of mean about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, the event coordinator is she's...
I felt tricked because she's so nice that I couldn't say no. Even though I wanted to say, she was so nice that I was like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it. But if she was a little bit meaner, I'd be like, nah, you can't buy my respect. Get out of here. But she was not mean at all.
Yeah.
She was super organized, just like you're saying. She was great. Well, so have you gone over all the things that you feel like you succeeded in? Or are there things that you did not succeed in for the year? Because I feel like we're talking about Ceramicon a lot.
Yeah, no, for sure. Let's we can move on from that.
By the way, we should say that if you're looking for an affiliate code instead of doing the footwork, you can use our affiliate codes by putting our names and then the number 20 after it. So if you want to take Lindsey's class and you want her affiliate code, it's just Lindsey20.
Yeah. Well, of course, but when you sign up, you're not just getting my class, you're getting everybody's class.
Yes, of course. Yeah, you can just say, it's essentially saying, like, this is the artist that brought me to this.
Yeah.
And then you put in their first name and then 20 after it.
Yeah.
And that's as easy as the code gets. That's all.
And that's the discount code. Yeah,
that's the discount code, yeah.
For sure. And it's their artist's first name, so it'd be like Donte 20,
yes,
Lindsey 20, whatever,
yes.
So I think the biggest thing that, oh my god, I keep moving from one year to-do list to the next is slip casting. Slip casting, and I think especially, I see this look on your face.
That's just my face, Lindsey.
I know, but I see it. And the reason that I want to get into slip casting is that, especially this year, like, because one of the other, and actually this is kind of another like side success thing, one of the things that I did want to focus on this year is either every month or every other month creating a small batch of new higher end, quote unquote, cups. So basically every couple of months I made a completely unique design that each one was hand carved, had its own story behind it. And I really, really enjoyed doing that. Like I did the Shipwreck series, I did Vessels of the Magma Clerics.
I love that.
I love that one too. I love that one too a lot. And then I did the Poisoner series. So all of these completely unique designs that I made, I really like them and I want to make more, but it's not really feasible for me because each one is really extensively hand carved.
Yeah.
I kind of get tired of making them really quickly because my hands hurt after making one of them.
In the winter.
Yeah. So I really want to do slip casting to be able to have more, create more items and create the kinds of pieces that are driving me artistically.
Yes.
Because those new designs feel like me stretching my creative muscles and my writing muscles. That's another thing that feel like I've gotten better at this year is actually integrating more writing into my practice. A lot of it ends up on Patreon. I don't always share it as my regular social media.
Yeah.
But either way, I'm still doing it, right? Like
Yes.
I'm creating a piece and then doing writing to go alongside that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to do more of that, but I need slip casting, I think, to make that more feasible long term.
I've thought about it as well, and it's more on the back burner for me than it is at the front of my mind. Although I will say that with my last year, with me saying, I would like to make 5 cups of this.
Yeah.
And then 5 cups of that.
You've really done well with that, it seems like.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm just so bad at advertising myself that people, like, I made like 3 Dungeon Master mugs that I put on my website.
Yeah.
And they sold out within a week and a half. But then people will still message me like, hey, when's your next draw update? And I'm like, I put it in my Instagram profile and I posted it multiple times and I feel bad, but like, if you don't have notifications on my posts, then like just check the words on my profile before you message me and be like, when's the post? Because like the information's there.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm just not as good as putting it in people's faces, and which is kind of why I'm relegating myself, like we talked about, to doing more tables.
Yeah.
Because like I'm there in front of you, and it's easier to sell to you if you are there to buy something.
Right.
Rather than looking for me. And I'm not in a high traffic area like Etsy. I'm like a little cult. Like if you know about me and you know about the site, like you're in like the amount of people who like my channel, probably like 10% of them know about the website and know that I sell work. It's not like I want to slip cast, but I think there are some really interesting shapes that I could probably get out of slip casting because the shapes are difficult to make. If that makes sense. Like
they're difficult to, like, if you were to throw and then alter them, they would take a lot of time.
Yeah, exactly. Or like handles, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like I only have 1 or 2 different types of handles, but I would love to slip cast an intricate handle so that I could never have to make an intricate handle for a full day of work and only make 5 of them.
Yeah.
You know, I would just love to just cast that. And it's not like I want that to become my whole practice. It's just that there are little bits of the whole that I realize can be made easier by casting these little bits.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like all my mugs are going to be slip cast all the same.
Right, yeah. And it wouldn't be for me either. Like, I'm still planning on making wheel throwing, like, probably most of what I make.
Like 80% at least.
Yeah. But I want that 20% to
Yes.
be the me stretching my creative muscles thing.
Yeah, and I want to have more time to, again, stretch your creative muscles. And I think it's more of like I'm not going to go out of my way this very moment on the list of priorities that I have to go out and learn to slipcast and make a slipcast because I don't have anything in my mind that I would want to.
Yeah.
But if somebody gave me a slipcast of an interesting handle right now and was like, try out this handle, I would throw a couple cups and just attach them right now. And then I'd be like, wow, that was easy. And then I'd keep that cast for that specific handle and put it in a special place in my studio and probably use it sparingly. I definitely do know that a couple years ago I was like, slipcasting!
Yeah, you were pretty anti-slipcasting for a while.
I'm still pretty. It's like being anti-sword. It's like, no, I don't like swords, but I do need to kill something, right? You know? And I think 2 years ago I was like, I don't think there's anything I need to kill. But now I'm like, I might have a little sword.
Yeah.
A little bit of sword.
Nice little stabby.
A little stab, just in case.
Yeah.
I've run into some stuff, and I'm like, I might have to cut up a little something.
Yeah.
You know?
Rats in the basement, so you can deliver the letter to the librarian at the Mage Tower. That's always quest 1.
What?
It's like in every quest, whenever you start a new RPG, you have to go like kill freaking rats in a basement or something.
Oh yeah,
it's
the
always
World of
like
Warcraft, like go kill 20 wolves, and then I feel bad because they ain't doing nothing wrong.
It's okay, they respawn.
They're in the forest minding their own business, hunting for food, and here you are, some level 1 warrior, like, hey, I gotta kill you and like 12 of your family members to level up. And they're like, why? And you're like, cause quest.
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, see? Now you're sad.
Yeah, it's a little sad. What about you? What are some of the other, like, are there any other things that you feel like you've been particularly successful at this year?
I just want to lay this down.
Yeah.
I'm a great dad.
Aww.
I'm fantastic at this job.
Yeah.
I was built for this.
Well.
Kid woke up at like 3 or 4 a.m. this
Yeah.
morning, and then she woke me. She likes to punch me in the face. I'm so proud of her. She like whacks me in the face to wake me up, and she's like, I'm awake, and I have a second wind in the middle of the night.
Oh my god.
And instead of being like trying to get her back to sleep, I'm like, okay, cool, let's go. And we went to the living room, and we watched her favorite show, and we stayed up, and like she had fruit, and I had peanut butter jelly sandwiches, and
Aww.
I was just like, yeah, we're gonna hang out until you go back to sleep. But like when I talk to other parents, they're just like, oh, my kid woke up, and I fucking hate it, and it's awful, and I didn't get much sleep last night, and now I'm irritated, and I hate life, and I shouldn't have had kids. And I'm like, yo, I get to chill with my daughter. Like she falls asleep in my arms as I play Destiny. What do you complain about?
Oh my god.
This is what I was doing before, but with my favorite person now, like in my arms. God.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you are, like, your stamina build, you put the stats into the right, your stat block is set well for being a parent. And
God
I think
was
it's like,
I could make him really strong and have a lot of stamina and work ethic, or make him super f***ing hot. And then he looked at like the hot cup and was like, pour that shit out.
you're a good-looking dude, Dante. You don't gotta hate on yourself about that.
I'm a hard 7, and I understand it's only because I have the work ethic of a stamina monster, and I'm not like super unhealthy. You know what I mean? Like I'm physically capable enough to go on adventures and things of that. Like I can go to the gym with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not to say that you're not if you can't do those things. I'm just saying that like most people are like, cool, he's healthy enough to live long enough for me to love on him. And also, he has the stamina to raise my babies and the work ethic to supply the money that would needed to have those things. There you go.
Yay.
Like, but without those things, I'd be a 5 easily. Easily a 5. Negative 2 points.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Maybe a 4 actually.
I don't even know how to. I can't even like. Well, because it's like when
I'm so realistic with myself. I'm telling you.
I don't know. I don't think so, because it's like, anyway.
Well, you know me, so it's different.
Yeah.
If you saw me on the street, you'd be like, look at that 5 in an orange jacket.
No, I didn't.
And then you see my daughter, and
you see how patient. The first time I didn't think
you'd
that.
see how patient and loving I am.
Oh yeah, no, that's true. That
and you'd be like, oh, he's a 6. And then you'd see that I get into my car that I own and the house that I pay a mortgage on. You'd be like, all right, that's a 7. And then you'd see me at the gym and be like, oh, it's a 7.5 right there. He looks like he's taking care of himself. And then you'd see me put glazes together. And you'd be like, oh, that's an 8.
Dude, like, what is that meme where it's like increasing? It's like that meme where it's like a brain, and then like the brain's shining, and then it's like a like cosmic being. Like that's the.
And then there's like a Buddha.
Yeah. Oh my god. So parenthood has been a good year for parenthood.
It's been a great year for parenthood because like you know, I got like 11 or 12 people that I like that I'll do anything for. I gave birth to one of them.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't give birth, but like I helped create one of them.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's very like, I love this thing so much.
Yeah.
I can't wait until you're a teenager and you hate me. And then I can't wait until you're 30 and you're like, I'm sorry for hating you for no reason.
Aww.
And then I walk in to the house one day and you show up behind me with a knife to my throat. And you whisper in my ear, you're getting old. You're getting slow, old man. And I go, I love you so much. And you go, I love you too.
Oh my god!
And then as I'm dying on the ground, I say, I pass all my powers to you. And it was an orb of...
So it's basically like your daughter absorbs your dragon soul.
She Highlanders
It's
me.
essentially okay. Highlander. There we go.
She Highlanders me.
I was taking it to Skyrim there.
And then she knows all, like, she could dragon shout afterwards.
Oh my god. Fus-Ro-POTS!
She does. It's like the Matrix. She looks back at her significant other is like, I don't have to sleep anymore. And he's like, what? And she's like, I absorbed my father's soul.
Oh my god.
I no longer need to sleep. And he's like, no!
No, but then I'll be sad because then you'll be dead and then I'll have to make a glaze out of your body.
That's
Just
the whole-
too much.
Grind my bones up and make bone ash out of it. By the way, the cat classes I've been taking,
Yeah.
like they're teaching you the base elements and what they're made out of and whatnot, and what like the base chemicals are made out of. Bone ash really do be just like calcified bone.
Yeah.
Just like burnt bone.
Yeah, no, they use like ox bones from what I understand. But there's like replacements you can use if you want to have vegan pottery.
Yeah, and that's the weird thing is that like I have a couple vegan friends, and when I tell them this, who are potters,
Yeah.
and when I tell them this, they're like, "Does that mean I'm not making vegan art?" And I'm like, "Well, if you know how to make your own glazes, you can kind of get around that with the chemistry. But like, if you're buying your own glazes and you're vegan, they're not going to tell you the recipe. But there is a good chance that if you like a certain red, because a lot of reds have bone ash in them,
Yeah,
you are probably using animal bones.
You could probably call the glaze company though. Like if that was a concern, even
Yeah.
if they didn't give you the recipe, you could probably contact the glaze company and ask them whether they use bone
Yeah,
ash because
at least,
and then you can work around from there.
I wonder
But that's
how
one of the
many-
benefits of making your own glazes,
That is
which you
true.
could sign up for the Ceramic class to learn from Donte.
I wonder.
So,
What?
speaking of which, we should talk about some of the other. Oh, can we talk about the other exciting news?
I'm gonna talk about it. Should we tell the story? Should I tell the story?
Well, okay. Well, before we get into that, like, are you sure that we can talk about it?
Well, at this point, it's pretty much just telling them that we're going to Nsika.
Oh, okay.
But
We're going to Nsika, guys.
okay, we're going to Nsika. We're going to the Ohio Nsika. If you're listening to this, it's like what 3-4 months in advance.
Yeah. Because it says Nsika's in March and we're in December. So
But we're gonna be we're going to be part of Nsika.
we're gonna be on a panel.
We're going to be on a panel, and the reason we're going to be on a panel is because somebody invited us to be on essentially a podcaster's panel.
Yeah.
We don't want to say who. We don't want to say where he's from. We just want to say, because I don't know how much info I can give at the moment.
Yeah. But we're gonna be like talking with some rad podcasters.
With some tubular. With some radical cowabungas of a certain sort.
So I guess we kind of give some of it away.
Yeah, I think that's
okay.
Did. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to.
This is what we'll call a hard tease.
We'll call.
Woo!
Because you don't want a soft tease.
No, you
don't.
I mean,
Useless.
ew.
No pushing rope in
I'm
this
just like-
in this household.
Just imagining like
They're just like
oh my god.
trying to get it in there.
Dude, I'm gonna have to mark this episode explicit. This episode, we are just, I don't know what our energy is right now, but we are on a level.
Well, you see this pink stuff in my bottle right here.
Yeah.
That's pre-workout.
Oh.
And I'm not working out today. I just drink it to get
Yeah.
through life, essentially.
Yeah, I had a large coffee with an added shot, so
Yeah,
maybe that's my energy.
We also had coffee and donuts, too.
Yeah, we did.
But essentially, we're going to be going to Nsika, Ohio. And the reason that we're going is essentially because they were like, we can help you with tickets if you come. And we
Yeah.
were like, oh, that's like damn near a round trip flight worth of money.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so-
because that was the biggest thing for me is that, like, I was originally not planning on going to Nsika
Yeah.
as much as I really wanted to, but again, like, the tickets are really expensive.
The
and,
tickets are like
and,
4 or 5.
And I think more like 300 or 400.
3 or 4, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's between like 250 and 300. But point being, it's expensive.
They're expensive, yeah.
And on top of the travel and hotel, even though you were very generous to offer to
Yeah.
like pay for, you know, my half of the hotel room costs, but even with that, like that was still going to be too much money.
Yeah.
Until this situation came about.
Yes. somebody contacted us and Prism offered us the tickets to help with the tickets. And so now my brain's like, well, I just got to pay for a hotel for 2 or 3 days, and then I have to pay for a round trip flight for myself. And then like after that, it's just food.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm a little concerned about food because I've only been to like Japan, Texas, Utah, and California. And when I went to Utah, it was bland as heckerdoodles. And Texas had enough diversity, and Japan is the homeland. So, but like, if I go to Ohio and you guys just got potatoes, I'm gonna be mad.
Oh, I'm sure they got good food. And we're gonna be in Cincinnati too, so it's like, you know, we're gonna be like in a proper city.
In one of like, I don't know.
I'm really looking forward to the, you know, just like trying food. I've never been to Ohio before, so.
I've never been to Ohio either. My mom was like, you gotta bundle up. You got, like, it's gonna be cold. And I was like, in March? And she's like, yeah, you don't know, Donte, but we live in a place where, like, there's no weather except for, like, kind of cold and really hot.
Yeah.
And then, like, sometimes rain, but that's not really weather. But, like, they have, like, proper snow.
Yeah, we're gonna have to prepare for that.
Yeah. She's like, there's no walking around in a t-shirt when it's raining and 30 degrees outside because you're a Californian.
Jesus.
She's like, there's none of that. Yeah. I was like, yeah, I'll just put a jacket on. She's like, no, you'll put multiple jackets on. Yeah, or you'll freeze. So that's our second surprise.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you the third one.
I don't remember I remember what the third one was.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
But you'll know what the third one is when you listen to the Night Peddlers episode, right?
You will know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will know what the third one is.
That we'll call that another like medium pressure tease.
Medium pressure tease. Little pressure.
But yeah, I'm gonna try and have that up by the end of the month. So hopefully, you know, so if you are a member, what I'm planning on doing is so I have 3 tiers on my Patreon. I've got House of Earth, which is a $3 tier, House of Stone, which is the $7 tier, and then House of Flame, which is the $13 tier, or $15 if you're in an international. I'm planning on the Night Peddlers access being for House of Stone upward. And so I think that will be like, in terms of like goals for next year, consistent. Ow. in terms
Lindsey has a table problem.
I have a table problem.
For the first year we did this podcast, Lindsey was like, we can't tap on the table. And then every podcast she's like,
tapping. I know, I'm tapping so hard. Well,
but she hurt her finger. She tapped too hard.
I did. It was like a real tip of my finger. Anyway, so next year, one of my goals is to expand. Like, because I want to continue to give people reasons to sign up for my Patreon, and it would be interesting to do like a follow up, like, oh, since both of us have had our Patreon for a while now, because you've had yours for a bit, but to do like a follow up of like what's it been like having a Patreon. But I want to continue to give people reasons to like sign up for my Patreon, even though I know that sometimes people will just sign up and then not utilize the extra things that they get, which is fine.
It's like a gym.
Yeah,
like they sign up and they don't use it, and then you're like, well, you're still paying.
Yeah,
like,
which is fine. You know what I mean? Like, I don't always follow super closely with all of the people that I patronize on, or am a patron of on Patreon.
Get patronized.
But, But anyway, so that's a goal. Doing, like, once a month, Night Peddlers episode. Continue to be consistent about, or be more consistent about, writing on Patreon. And I don't know, another goal kind of for this year was to, again, do, like, more YouTube, because for about a year, you know, we had the Mud Peddlers on YouTube, and I was thinking, okay, that'll be like a good entryway into me posting like my own content on YouTube.
Yeah.
Still not sure where that is. That's kind of like, for me, learning how to do slip casting is on a higher tier than doing a YouTube video.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, YouTube, it's kind of harder for me to think about investing the time for that, because it's like,
it's an editing thing.
It's the edit. It's a lot of time.
It's whole thing.
You know, and it's kind of hard to see like the direct monetary correlation. But then again, there isn't a real direct monetary correlation with the Mud Peddlers, and I think we've gotten, like, I don't think, you know, we obviously wouldn't be invited to Nsika if we weren't doing this podcast together, since it's a podcasters panel, right?
Right. This is specific. They invited us specifically because the podcast is getting fairly popular. To be clear about it, we goated with the sauce. They want us to bust it down at Nsika.
I think I understand what that means.
I learned it from TikTok.
Yeah, very cool.
I'm a dad.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Well, I don't even know how long we've been talking, but like,
I think we're good.
I think we're probably good.
We gotta be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a long podcast.
Yeah.
But I heard you like long stuff, so you know, like it's fine.
Oh yeah.
But too long hurts, though. Let's be clear. Yeah. No.
Anything else? Because I feel like it's just this kind of like, it's been a lot all over the place. I guess tag us and tell us, or you know, on the Instagram
or Twitter.
Hashtag the Mud Peddlers. You know, tell us like what's like one big win from this last year
For you.
for you.
Yes.
And what's something that's on your list for next year? Because I love hearing what people are focusing on, and I don't know, I just think like, not that it has to be like a whole New Year's resolution thing, but yeah, tell us what a big win is, and then tell us something that you're wanting to work on next year. And it doesn't have to be ceramics related, so.
Yeah, tell us what's on. Yeah, it doesn't have to be ceramics related.
Serrated
Doesn't have to be
ceramics.
ceramics.
Oh my god.
It doesn't have to be ceramics related, but we would like to hear some of your goal. I don't want to say like a New Year's.
Yeah, like,
don't wanna
it
say
could just
that.
be like a goal for next year.
Yeah, tell us what's on your to-do list for this year, and tell us if you succeeded or failed.
Failure is a strong word. Failure is a strong word.
Tell us if you did it or you didn't do it.
Yeah.
On my to-do list, it's just you, girl.
Ah!
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh my god.
End the podcast with that.
And that's it for today. Thank you for listening to The Mud Peddlers with Lindsey M Dillon.
And Donte of Earth Nation.
Want to say hi and see what Donte and I are working on in our studios? Check out the show notes for links to our websites and social media below. You can find me at lindseymdillon.com. That's LINDSEY, M as in monster, DILLON.com, and on Etsy, Instagram, and Facebook at Lindsey M Dillon.
And you can find me at Earth Nation Ceramics. It's spelled exactly how you think it's spelled, but you can also find me on my Facebook fan page and Instagram at the same name at Earth Nation Ceramics.
If you enjoyed hanging out with us today, or you have a question or topic you'd like us to discuss, take a second to rate and review the Mud Peddlers in Apple Podcasts. It helps our podcast reach new listeners, and we really appreciate the feedback. Thanks again, and we'll catch you next time.